And, when you see guys like Jake Retzlaff on the show, and it's presented by Big O Tires, and Jake is here eagerly to talk about how excited he is to get his $600 payment from EA Sports and be the cover boy for the new college football game. You taking that 600, Jake?
Oh, of course.
Of course. There's this debate. Are you excited about the EA college football game?
Oh my God, yeah. Are you kidding me? I grew up on that. Like, once that went away, it was like some part of me just is gone. You know what I mean? And so I cannot wait to get back on that game. And I'm so happy it's happening. Somebody made an edit where I was the cover of it, and I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to buy the game, cut that out, paste it on top of the game. I just can't wait. It's going to be sweet.
But is 600 enough? I wonder, and I don't know what's enough, but there is this conversation. We were just talking about this a minute ago. I don't think the biggest stars in college football are going to sign on the line for $600.
I think it depends on the guy. I know a lot of them are going to be like, I mean, this is a staple of my childhood. I want to be in this game. I want to play myself in this game. 600 is enough. I don't know. Maybe there's some guys who aren't. I don't know. It's a weird idea to not want to be in that game.
It is.
I honestly don't. I wonder, what they pay the pros to be in Madden. Is that part of the NFL contract clause? Is it in the contract? Is it? I don't know what it is, but I don't know what they pay them, but I don't think they're paying each guy $1 million. You know what I mean? So it's not. I don't think it's crazy. So that's like, I don't know what college guys are gonna expect. Dude, that $600 comes my way, I'm signing, because now my buddy back home. now my buddy back home can send me a video of me getting sacked on his PlayStation. So,
that would be amazing. Can you imagine though seeing your name in a Madden football game?
That's unbelievable. That's a weird concept to me, to be honest with you. Seeing my name in a video game, it's like I can't wrap my head around it, and I imagine the first couple times playing is going to be weird.
You're going to play as yourself.
Of course, play as the BYU Cougars. No, yeah, you can't.
I think it is. Do you remember the first time you saw yourself on ESPN? Do you remember the first SportsCenter highlight? Do you remember all that?
Yeah, it's definitely a weird feeling. Like the first time, because I watch the TV broadcast sometimes after a game on a slow Sunday, and I'm just watching me and the way they're talking about me and my name on my jersey, all that stuff. It's just like weird. It's like, I mean, it's really cool, to be honest, because it's something I've been thinking about for a while, but it's definitely a weird feeling at first. It's hard. It's something to get used to. And then you realize it's just football again. So, but it's something else to see your name on there and something like that. A broadcast at ESPN, and the best was the memes that were made. I don't know if you guys saw that meme of when it said first Jewish starting quarterback in BYU history, yes. and then the moon landing.
It's amazing. And that you have a BYU t-shirt is
incredible.
I still think it is one of the greatest thing ever. And again, today you show up wearing amazing Nike gear. There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Let's go.
There it is. That shirt is amazing. That is the best shirt. That is the best shirt ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I like this shirt a lot. This is a sweet shirt.
That's unbelievable.
Link in my bio.
This is your life, Jake. Do you reckon you have a t-shirt?
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
BY BYU.
I love it, dude.
So good. Is that where can we get that shirt? Is that Coug Connect? Where can we get that?
Yeah, you can go. There's a link in my bio up right now on Instagram. If you just go there, at JRuts11, and then go get that shirt and that link. It should be the only link in there. First thing that pops up.
Awesome.
I could double check that for you, but yeah, no, that's that's a sweet shirt. I love it. It's a sweet little deal that I got, and it's nice. It's
Isn't it at some point surreal? Dude, you're playing football. You're the starting quarterback at BYU. You're going to be in a video game. You've got a t-shirt. You're on SportsCenter. Like you're like at some point, isn't this life surreal?
Yeah. One funny moment is like I had some extended family, like my aunts and uncles, come up to a game. I want to say no, it was a later game in the evening. I think it was Iowa State, and we're just chilling in the hotel because there was a late game, so we had a lot of downtime, which is the caveat of an 8:00 kick. And I'm sitting in the lobby, but I'm sitting behind this chair that's got like these wings on the side, so you can't really see me from behind. These people walk up and see the shirts that my family's wearing because they're sitting over on the couch, and they're like, "Hey, you guys know Jake? Like, you his family or something?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And she didn't see me. The person didn't see me at first. She's like, "Yeah, we love seeing him." Blah blah blah. And then I turn around like, and then she's like, "Oh my gosh, she's right here!" And he's like, "What's going on?" And so it's like, that whole thing is bizarre. I mean, it was bizarre looking around and having them all have my shirt on and just like my face. It was my first one. It wasn't this one. It was the one before that. But it's just like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's a special feeling because you get this type of, attention from people, and the best part is the fact that it brings people together. Like, there's no other reason that my aunt and uncles would be flying out into the middle of Utah, to come see me for like any other reason.
Utah. What?
Like Provo, Utah. Like, who's going to Provo, Utah for no other reason other than a football game? Like, other than BYU. Like, that's why you go to Provo, Utah. And so like that's why they're there to see me, and they're hanging out with me in the lobby. Like, that's the special part of it in my little world, and all the extra attention stuff is gravy. But yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of all this SEC, Big Ten, extra playoff spots, like Notre Dame getting an A? Is the Notre Dame brand in football overvalued? Like, where do you come down on Notre Dame?
I don't know if it's overvalued. There's obviously a lot of hype around them, like, game day going there and all that stuff. But I don't know if they're overvalued because they got a lot, it's a lot of success there. But they still play an ACC schedule. They're essentially an ACC independent. So maybe they are to be like with the SEC, Big Ten type conversation, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's I haven't looked into that one very much because it's just everything is like hearsay right now. It's like I just wait for things to actually happen to understand what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I really worry about the future of college football. And I think we've talked about this both weeks you've been on the show now, but I don't feel like this is good. Like, you were at the Baylor BYU basketball game.
Yeah.
That game is wild. Like, that is what, to me, that feels like that's what college is supposed to be about, right? Like, how much did you enjoy that game?
That was incredible. That was awesome. The boys went out and balled out against a Baylor team who's probably more talented at every position. And they just went out and played their tail off, and it was so fun. The Rock was jumping. I know a couple of the football players from the Rock for like most of the first half and part of the second. And it's unbelievable seeing the guys go out there play and hit big shots and clutch moments. We were up by 9 with like a minute left or something like that. We didn't just beat them. We beat them. You know what I mean? It wasn't a fluke. We played better. But it was an awesome game, dude. The environment in the Marriott's crazy. One of my roommates, Trey, he's a new DB for us, freshman DB for us. He hasn't been in Lavelle yet for a game. He hasn't seen the Kanye fourth quarter, that whole thing, the power and all that stuff. He hasn't seen any of that. And that happens at basketball games. I'm like, look at him. I'm like, have you seen this before in person, Lavelle? He's like, no, I haven't seen it yet. And I'm like, dude, you're in for a treat, man. It is just, imagine this times 10. It's like, I'm like, it's so hard to describe to him because I'm like, there's no feeling like it. I'm like, this is the feeling that we get on the field that nobody gets in the world because of what's going on around us. And so I'm like, the same thing happened for me. Like, I showed up, a year ago, and the first big event I got to go to was a basketball game. And so like seeing the environment at a basketball game was my taste of what Saturdays are going to be like. And still, I didn't have an idea because Lavelle is just so special, but that environment was top notch the other night.
Yeah, and I think, being that you're in the off season right now, you have time to go and do these things. What is your football focus right now, being that you're in the middle of the off season? Is it just strength training and making sure your body's right, or what are you guys focused on right now?
Yeah, right now strength training. We're leading into spring ball next week, so we're starting some little like walkthrough stuff right now. So that's got me excited. We had one yesterday where it was a lot of fun. It's short, really short stuff. It's not a full practice or anything like that, but it's getting me excited, and I'm like, here we go. Let's go spring ball right now, and I'm ready to get back and play ball again. You know what I mean? These last 2 months have just been like downtime. It's like just not, just focusing on strength conditioning, getting the weight correct, getting my body feeling right, getting faster, you know what I mean? Bigger, faster, and stronger. And now we get to go compete on the field, and that's what I live for, man. There's nothing better.
Jake Retzlaff, thanks to our friends at Big O Tires in American Fork, joins us on the Monty Show every Thursday morning at 7:30. This is a big spring for you. I think that I truly believe that when you go through the year that you guys went through, there is a lot of work that has to be done. You cannot have an okay spring. You can't have this is pretty good. You need to have an amazing spring. I think you personally need to have an amazing spring. And I think this football team needs to have a really good spring session to propel you guys into the summer and get you ready for fall, because I just think we never saw your best last year. And again, I think I can apply that to you, and I think we can apply that to this team. Last year at BYU, I don't think we saw your best at any point last season. So how important is this spring session for you?
It's crucial. And, the leaderships have taken 5-7 personally. We took that, like, it's not going to be 5-7 no matter what. I mean, the way we're approaching spring ball, the way we're approaching everything this offseason, we're pushing the guys harder. The strength staff is on us even more. Everything's more disciplined. Every little thing counts way more now. And so it's a different feeling for me, especially, being part of this leadership, committee. Like, we're dialing some things in and instilling some things. That's like, there's no passive leadership going on this team. And there could have been some last year, and we kind of were just going through the motions a little bit at times. And that's what kind of cost us towards the end of the year, and there's other factors and stuff like that. But like, we're taking an active leadership in this offseason, and almost like, we're going to hope we're not doing too much. And I don't think we will. And I think that we're going to attack spring ball with a lot of, intensity. And yesterday's little walkthrough practice thing had some high intensity and some competitive nature going. It's so fun to go against guys like Batty every day. Tyler Batty. I mean, he's a great leader for us, and seeing him at DN, we run a ton of zone read. You guys saw that out of me a lot last year. You're going to see it. That's just staple of our offense. And Batty's my read. And so me and him are going at it every play. You know what I mean? And we're saying things across the line of scrimmage to each other in a fun way. And so it's going to be so exciting, and I'm so ready for it. I cannot wait. We start in a week and a half now, or a week. Was it Thursday already? Yeah, we start in a week
already.
And I'm just so excited. I can't express to you guys how already.
You talk about the things that were missed or the things that didn't happen. How do you correct that stuff? Like, because I truly believe, in all my years covering football, I truly believe the details that you dial in. I mean, that important route that you need to let the football go before. Again, Cody Epps is my guy. I believe he's an amazing receiver talent. You have to let that football go, knowing that Cody's going to make that cut, and he's going to be in the right place at the right time, and he's not half a yard short of the first down. Do you dial that stuff in spring and summer?
Oh, 100%. 1,000%. And last year I got sick during this time. I had a tonsillitis thing, and I had to get tonsillectomy. I had like 3 or 4 surgeries to get back, and it was brutal recovery. Everything went wrong. Like, every side effect was way worse than it needed to be, and everything that could have happened. And so I was out for the first half of spring ball. I came back for the second half of spring ball, where my job wasn't to work with the ones. It was to take ownership of the twos and lead the second squad all the way up. And so I didn't have those reps with Cody, Chase, all those guys. And later in the summer, becoming Keelan and Darius and those guys, and all the tight ends with Isaac and this list of them. And so this spring, I'm super excited for that, because the reps I'm going to get with those guys is something I didn't get last year. And that's why I'm like 100% agree with you. Like, you guys didn't see the full Jake Retzlaff on the field last year.
Yeah.
You saw, like, you were starting to see the development of him. You were starting to see, like, game 1, we saw I played a good game. Game 2, that was a young quarterback trying to do too much out there on the field. Game 3, Oklahoma, like, I was dialing it in. Like, there's 2 plays in that game that I went back. Other than that, I played a really good game.
Jake, your last 75 reps you were a different football player. Your last 75 reps of last season, and I think both of us watched pretty much every one of your snaps last year. Your last 75 reps last year, I think the growth and development showed you because who cares what we think? Those last 75
Yeah.
reps and those 2 snaps you want back in Oklahoma, that's why you're going to be a dominant football player this year, in my opinion. I think that because that mentality, when did that mentality hit you? Like, is it after those 2 plays? Is it in film? Like, when did you recognize, dude, I am way better than those 2 reps?
It's not something you realize after the fact. It's something you realize, after, let's say my number 1 rep that I want back in the year was the pick 6 against Oklahoma, like where I chased a guy down back to the 1-yard line, dove in the end zone. I come to the sideline and I'm talking to Fesi Sataki, who's our passing game coordinator, receiver coach, who I love to death. That guy is incredible done so much things for me that is off the field, on the field. That guy just comes to me, grabs me. First guy that grabs me says, dude, like driving us down that field, that's who you are. That one play at the end, you get rid of that and you're a hell of a football player. Like that you just eliminate that one little piece and you're a special kid and you can do a lot of things at this level. And it was that simple. Next thing you know, Tyler Batty and AJ Vongpachong, two captains of the defense, picked me up on the sideline and like, let's go. Sure enough, when you throw a pick 6, you're back on the football field. You know what I mean? It's your time to go show them that, okay, that's not who you are. So what do? We drive right down the field. We end up scoring a 9-yard touchdown run. And next thing you know, I'm celebrating in the end zone. And so it's like, it's that simple. And that other drive was that 1 yard away. Literally 1 yard away. So
1 yard.
1 yard away. And so like that's my thing is I know that I knew before that play it wasn't me, and I knew after that play, I knew while there was the play it wasn't me. And so like that mentality doesn't come from a play, it comes from being process oriented and understanding and not being emotionally attached to results. We talked about that. We got to I don't know if you guys saw the BYU socials team did a special on Braden Brown, our sports psychologist. And, he talks to all the guys. He has a cool meeting before the game, at the night before or the day of, in the hotel and stuff. And we talk about a couple of different things. And, one thing is, my favorite thing he ever says is wring the towel, which is if you had a towel, a little, washcloth, whatever it is, you soaked it with water, wring it out as much as you can. All the water comes out. You wring it out more, there's more water that can come out. You can wring it out a ton of times before that water stops getting out of that towel. So wring the towel is something that we love to preach. Another thing is like be process oriented.
Yeah.
And that means you can't be emotionally attached to the results. You cannot be so caught up in the results that it affects you so much that it affects your process. Your process is what gets you to greatness, not the results.
Can you learn that though? When you talk about not being emotionally attached to a result, that like we talk about this stuff, but how do you learn that? And then how do you take that from a learned skill and implement that in a moment?
It's just, like anything, it's practice, and practice in that situation. It's like, it's repping anything. I rep a lot of throws. I throw to Chase on a 12-yard out that I was money yesterday. It was like came out of my hand. I knew it was exactly where it was going to be. He was in the spot. I knew it was going to be. So that happens in a game because of the reps that we bank in. You have to be able to understand those reps as you're going through your mental process, as you're understanding. It starts when you look at film. Okay, I threw the ball over his head. All right, why did I throw the ball over his head? What can I learn from that? A lot of people, like when it comes to training and stuff like that, they want to get a ton of reps. Well, what I've learned is like, yeah, a ton of reps can be good. It can be beneficial. But if they're not intentional reps, they're not going to do much for you. You have to attack every single workout, every single exercise with an intent. And if your intent to do this certain thing, you should know why you're not doing it and how you can do that better. And that's what, coaches are for, to understand that intent and to help you understand why you're doing things. Why did I throw that ball high? Did I whip my shoulder out too soon? Was my angle set too high? Why did I throw that ball too high? Why did I, you know what I mean? And so it's the why behind things, not the what. And when you understand that, that's process.
This is why.
Speaking of not being emotionally attached, Jake, I have to ask you about this. November 9th, coming off your bye week this season, you're going to Utah. How excited are you to play in that ball game?
Oh, man, I cannot express to you the amount of excitement that when you see that one, that's a big circle. That's not a circle. That's a circle with stars and exclamation points and everything on that schedule. That's going to be so fun. I am so excited to introduce myself into that rivalry and, be in the history books. We got them last time. We're looking to start a streak. I cannot wait. It's going to be so fun. A-Rod's already said something to me about it already, even though what are we 8 months away?
Let's go.
But it doesn't matter. We're ready to, you know what I mean? I can't wait. That's going to be such a fun one. I know that rivalry is huge, and like I said, I'm excited to introduce myself into the Holy War. And I know that if you win that game, you go down as a hero in Cougar Nation, no matter what you do the rest of the year. So I'm so excited for that one. I talked to John Beck about that rivalry. I called him a couple weeks ago and just asked him a couple questions. I said, hey, man, what is that rivalry? What does the Utah Holy War BYU game mean to you? And he's like, dude, it is unbelievable. It's insane, the atmosphere. When you walk in the building, you're going to feel the hatred. Like, you're going to feel the eyes on you. Like, why are they here? They should not be here. They discuss, all this stuff. And I think, being up at Rice Eccles is going to be even more intense, obviously, being in the away crowd in the away stadium. It's going to be unbelievable. And what's interesting is a lot of guys on this team don't know that rivalry as well as past years because we haven't been in it in a few years. And so obviously the Utah, kids know that rivalry. Like, the guys who were born here, grew up here, and they were part of it. I was talking to Isaiah Glasgow about it. He said, dude, ever since I was a little kid, that game was unbelievable. Utah shuts down for that game, the entire state. And so I'm excited for everybody in the building to understand the gravity of that game and just go out there and ball out. And so it's going to be I just know that that's one of the best rivalries in football. When you talk rivalries in football, that's one you got to talk about.
It's funny, you probably won't believe this, but I was just about to ask you if you've talked about the rivalry with John Beck, because we actually have John Beck and Johnny Harleen on a football over here, which is one of the greatest connections in the history of BYU football, I think now, in the lore of, Max Hall's mom and Utah fan, that's the best. But anyway, the point is, I think John Beck is one of the more interesting guys. Number one, he's a great human being. I love John Beck. But do you... Like, one of the things I think is so interesting is his ability to impact current day football players and quarterbacks. Like, do you have a relationship with him? Do you know him at all? Because he's also, and I think him and Tom House still have their gig rolling. Like, how do guys like John Beck impact you?
John's incredible. He's the guy who he's a text away. I have a great relationship with John, and I've been working with him for about a year now, and since coming to BYU, being able to, what's nice, he runs 3D QB out of Southern California, out of Golden West College, which is what my first junior college was. So driving that drive is not new to me, and playing on that field is not new to me. So going out and being able to work with him, that guy is unbelievable. His trained eye to see little things in quarterbacks and understand why certain things happen, and that's a coach that is like up there with the best in the country, if not the best, with quarterbacks, because he's a guy who will watch you throw from in front of you, like if you're throwing the ball over his head, and he'll tell you what exactly the ball did and where it went without looking at the ball. They just tell you. And so, I mean, it's just unbelievable what he's been able to do for me. Like I said, he's a call away. I've called him, and in that phone call, I said, John, you know what? At this point in the season, what would you be watching? What film would you be watching? And he gave me a great answer. He said, go watch the guys like Zach and Jaron in the BYU offense along next to you, sort it by, play concept, and dissect it, see what they did, see what you did, see how those plays usually work out versus those coverages. And he's just like, he says stuff that makes sense. He knows how to speak quarterback, which I think is an underrated thing to be able to do. And not everybody can. And that guy can speak quarterback. He breathes quarterback. He lives quarterback. And so being BYU alum, that guy does so much for the quarterbacks in the room. And it's just incredible. He's going to be out here in Utah sometime soon. And he's going to be working with us for a few days straight. And then he'll head back to California. He's busy this time of year with draft prep and stuff like that. And he's working with all those guys. But any chance I get to see him, any chance he gets to come up here it's just great for all of us, because you have one question about any little thing, and that guy's got an answer, and a good one that makes sense and is extremely process oriented. And so that's why I love working with that guy, and will work with that guy for as long as I can.
Nice. Okay, the final most important question, of course. McDonald's filet of fish, yes or no?
Oh, you're gonna hate me. I've never had it.
Oh, he had his first one yesterday.
Dude. It's
Okay.
good, but I'm a big proponent of fish at fast food places. I'm not really. That's not my thing.
Of course, but if you're going to stoop down to the gutter and have fish at a fast food place, the fillet of fish is where it's at. And you, as an acai bowl guy, which I am as well. Yesterday we had a huge argument on the show about fillet of fish. He said it was trash. I'm telling you, change your life. Well, you shouldn't. After spring football, because I don't want the blame. After spring football, go and get yourself a fillet of fish, Jake, because it'll change your life.
All right. You got to keep me to that, but all right. I'll think about the filet fish. I've heard there's hype around it. I've heard it's some great fast food item. But I've never had it because since, I don't know. I don't go to McDonald's that much. I'm a big, when I used to in high school, it was like, just give me 20 chicken nuggets and a large fry, large drink, and I'm just going to go to town on that.
Yes.
Simple things. And because McDonald's they do chicken nuggets like nobody else, and they do fries like nobody else. So,
dude, we don't eat much fast food, dude. I'll be honest with you. We don't eat much fast food. We argue about it on this show all the time. I ate it yesterday and felt like trash. It was terrible, but it was really good. The sandwich is amazing.
Yeah, the sandwich is bomb.
Did you just feel bad? Anyway, you're amazing. Good to see you. Everybody go get the BYU t-shirt. Find Jake Retzlaff on Instagram. Use that link on Instagram. Buy his t-shirt. As always, Jake, great to see you. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Good to see you guys.
All right, there you go. Jake Retzlaff, BYU quarterback. I'm telling you, we've talked about this on the show in the past.
Yeah.
John Beck is a critical part of the BYU community. I don't know how else to tell you guys that. He is an incredible quarterback. He's a quarterback guru.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never understood why universities, NFL teams, Canadian football teams, I don't care if you're a Pop Warner guy, if you don't have a quarterback guru in your ecosystem, you're doing it wrong.
You're missing.
And it's why the Chicago Bears are bad. It's why the New York Jets are bad. It's why Patrick Mahomes is developed into an MVP and arguably the greatest quarterback of his generation, because he's got Andy Reid. And you look at all the best quarterbacks, they have gurus, they have coaches, and everybody, I don't care what you do for a living, you need a coach.
Yep.
We do high-level sales, we need coaching. We do talk shows, we need coaching. Like, you have to have somebody who can tell you, hey, you've got to do this to get this. Because we're big believers in, hey, it's not what you're capable of doing, it's what you're willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And guys like Jake Retzlaff, who are willing to put themselves out there and say, hey, what tape should I be watching? Hey, I feel this way. Tell me if that's crazy or not. That's what you need. I'm telling you, Jake Retzlaff is a different dude.
And by the way, the fact that they're already talking about the Holy War,
you had to bring that up, didn't you?
You have to. I mean, I got to know the dude's mentality on this rivalry, because it's coming back. And obviously it's not the last weekend of the season, which I agree with everyone saying that's a miss by the Big 12 scheduling team, but it is what it is. But I do think for BYU, you're coming off your bye week, and you're going on the road to play the Holy War. I don't think you could ask for much better of a recipe.
Yeah. My God, let's see. Jeremiah Champion, good morning to you. Giggity says Utes by 2 scores. OG Gary says my Utes are clapping those cheeks, brother. Okay. San Diego State Glenn says good leadership and critique goes hand in hand. Yes, it does. He also says, I'm not a BYU fan. Aztecs aren't cut that way, but this guy's interesting and different from other players interviewed. Good job, Monty.